Just what did Devin Booker's family have to give up to help make Devin a star, and what decision did Devin Booker's dad make that would change his life forever? Let's dive right in. I'm Jesse with Basketball Dive, and this is the family of Devin Booker.
Wide open Booker, got it, back-to-back threes.
Before Devin Booker became the superstar we know today, his father was a star in his own right. Born on August 20th, 1972, Melvin Jermaine Booker attended high school in Moss Point, Mississippi. He was introduced to basketball by his father, known simply as Big Book, who also played basketball in Moss Point.
We like playing basketball. I played basketball, he played basketball, and my son played basketball, Devin.
Big Book actually told him that if he used basketball well, it was sure to take him around the world, and it did, but not in the way Melvin had envisioned at first.
Pops introduced me to basketball, and I recall when he told me, like, he gave me this ball, and he was like, yo, this ball can take you around the world if you use it the right way.
Melvin had stood out as a star point guard at Moss Point High School, where he averaged 28.4 points per game during his senior year, and this was more than good enough to make him Mississippi's Player of the Year. Nevertheless, when he wanted to go to college, Melvin's parents expected him to go to one of the colleges in the South, but Melvin wanted to see the world, so he chose to go to Columbia, Missouri, which was the #1 team in America at the time.
I took my visit to Missouri, and at the time, they was the #1 team in the nation.
Oh, wow.
It introduced me to a whole new world.
His mom didn't like that he chose to go to Missouri because she wanted him to go to Florida, but she came to accept and respect his decision. Melvin was recruited into the Missouri Tigers team, and he led his school to a 14-0 conference record and an Elite Eight berth. He was also inducted into the Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame at the University of Missouri in 1999. Melvin averaged 18.1 points per game in his senior year and got into the first-team All-American team twice and all Big 8 selections once. But more importantly, he snatched for himself a Big 8 Conference Player of the Year award in 1994, a year he described as the best year of his life aside from the year he had Devin.
94, the best year in my life, I say, besides having my son.
But this would also be one of his worst years because, surprisingly, as good and hard-working as Melvin was, even with all the sacrifices he had to make, from spending long hours in the gym getting reps to not seeing his family for so long because it was a 14-hour drive from Mississippi to Missouri. Despite all of these struggles, he didn't get selected in the 1994 NBA draft. He was heartbroken, but he didn't give up. Though he was tossed around the Continental Basketball Association, or CBA, which is known as the G League today, Melvin continued to go for NBA tryouts and eventually got the chance to play in the NBA, albeit just briefly, and of course as an undrafted player. Between 1996 and 1997, he played for the Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors, and Denver Nuggets, and had an overall 166 points, 38 rebounds, and 74 assists. But his lack of success in the NBA is what eventually led him to Europe. He played in Italy for 5 years and Turkey for 2 before going to Moscow, Russia. So yes, basketball actually did take Melvin around the world just like his father had predicted.
I've played all over the world. I've been to Italy for 5 years, Turkey for 2 years, and this is my 3rd season now in Moscow.
Melvin met Veronica Gutierrez while he was playing in the CBA for the Grand Rapids Mackers. Now, they never got married, but of course they did have one son, Devin, born October 30th, 1996. While Melvin was away playing pro basketball, Veronica was left to take care of Devin alone, but Melvin does insist that Devin went to see him all the time for 13 years while he played in Europe.
Vacationing, Devin used to come over there. That's why he likes to go on the most exotic trips now.
The truth is, though, that Melvin had to retire early in 2008 because of how good Devin Booker really was. He was only in 8th grade at the time, and he was already balling up people that were way older than he was.
And Devin was with me every summer. He just always been better than a lot of kids his age.
So Melvin knew it was time to move back home and help his son become an even bigger star. He turned down a contract from Italy and moved to Mississippi, but Devin and his mom were against Devin moving to Mississippi at first, but Melvin had to do a lot of convincing to let Devin come live with him during his sophomore year. Then he started to teach Devin everything from developing a strong mental strength to sound eating habits. Devin and his father had a gym that they called the Dungeon, and here they gave their 110% every day.
You know, my experiences in that gym, you know, it's a place that me and my dad named the Dungeon, and you know, we put a lot of reps in there.
The result of all that hard work and dedication is what we are seeing today, and Melvin is nothing but proud.
Battling against Kevin Durant, so, you know, it's a surreal feeling to see my son out there compete against guys he used to, you know, look up to and idolize.
With the star for a son and with all the money he accumulated in Europe, Melvin Booker could have retired to the Bahamas and enjoyed the rest of his life without the fear of going broke, but that's not him. He is a man passionate about basketball and bringing up the next generation, and because of that, he is currently an agent with CAA Sports, the same group that represents his son actually.
You are now an agent, so shout out to you. You've been doing that for about a year now, right?
Yes, I am an agent.
And guess what? Even in his 50s, Melvin Booker can still ball. Nevertheless, nothing is known about his current love life or whether he remarried or had another child aside from Devin, but the same cannot be said about Veronica Gutierrez. Let us finally meet the woman that took care of Devin while Melvin was away in Europe. Veronica Gutierrez likes to keep her life pretty private, but we managed to find some details about her that'll add to the story. For example, we know that her father is Mexican and migrated to America where he met her mother, who is from Alabama.
We'll take the extra cheering. Booker's maternal grandfather was born in Mexico, but migrated to Michigan.
We tried our best, but we couldn't find any deets about Veronica's mom, like her name and stuff. Nevertheless, Veronica usually took Devin to go see his granddaddy during the weekends, and Book confirms how important his relationship with his maternal grandfather was, because he was someone that had his back and was completely supportive of him.
We got the chance to visit my grandpa on the weekend, the short times I've got with him growing up.
As for Veronica, by profession, she is a cosmetologist and apparently met Melvin in Michigan back around 95 or 96 while he was still in the CBA. Veronica was reportedly married to a man with whom she had her first son named Devin. After their divorce, she dated Melvin Booker but didn't marry him, and why this is the case was never really disclosed. But she and Melvin had the NBA star Devin, of course, and then she entered into a relationship with another man with whom she had a girl named Maya. We'll introduce everyone later, but for now the question is, why did Melvin leave Veronica with their son when she was already taking care of another? Well, this is how it all happened. Before Melvin left for Europe, they both had a mutual understanding of the well-being and life of their kid. While Devin was growing up with her in the suburban area of Grand Rapids, Michigan, he would be spending his summer with his dad in Europe. It was a good plan until Melvin realized his son had a lot of potential and that raising him needed to be his new #1 priority. Realizing that her son would actually become a better basketball player if he were trained by a father who was a star player himself, she eventually let Devin leave Michigan for Mississippi. It would be the best decision she ever made for his life. But after leaving Michigan, Devin felt homesick, even though he had found a home too in Moss Point. You can't really blame him when some of his favorite times growing up were when his mother made Mexican dishes, just as he said back in 2021. Quote, "Some of my favorite times as a child was my mom whipping up, original Mexican dishes that she learned from her father, or when we got the chance to visit my grandpa on the weekend." End quote. But Devin stayed back with his father to develop his game and himself, and according to him, this was the best experience of his life. Booker told Phoenix New Times during the Suns media day, quote, "Mississippi was a culture change. I guess you could say it was the hood. It was like nothing I had ever seen before, but it was the best experience of my life. I saw people making the most out of life, saw that it's possible to achieve your dreams." End quote. This is not to say Veronica is not appreciated enough for her own impact in his life. Melvin Booker credits her for helping raise Devin when he was away in Europe.
Trying to make it work, but I got to commend his mom. She did a great job of keeping our relationship going.
Devin also knows to give her all her due. Speaking to The Undefeated, he said about his mom, quote, "That's part of the reason I grind so much. For a mother to just let her son move with a father I didn't spend much time with, she raised me most of my life, it takes a powerful woman to do that." End quote. Veronica also maintains a healthy relationship with Melvin, and the two try to be present whenever Devin has a big day. That said, let's move on to the other kids Veronica had, Devin Wade and Maya Powell, both of whom are Devin's close step-siblings. Devin Wade is an established realtor who has been in the real estate industry for quite some time. But before this good-looking guy became known in Arizona as a go-to real estate broker, he was and still is the only brother of Devin Booker. His father is not known, but he and Book share the same mother, of course. While Book was getting better at basketball and preparing to take over the NBA, Devin was digesting all the books he needed to be a certified business administrator. He has a degree in business administration from the University of Michigan, but his passion for housing and real estate bloomed after he moved to Arizona. Since then, he has gotten his license and now works with Linehand Wade, a real estate company. Devin is also a devoted fan of the Phoenix Suns and his superstar brother. In fact, Devin is part of the board of directors for the Phoenix Suns charities. Devin and Booker grew up together and still maintain a very close relationship today. But perhaps there's one in the family that gets most of the love and attention, and that person is Maya Powell. Maya Powell is the half-sister of Devin, but by far his biggest inspiration. She was reportedly born in 2000 and has a rare condition known as microdeletion syndrome. This is a genetic condition that is simply defined as a delay in the development of motor skills like walking and also talking. Growing up together, Devin developed a special, unbreakable bond with Maya, something he said changed his life. Quote, "Having a special needs sister has changed my life for the better. She shows me you can be happy no matter what." End quote. He also admits that she helps him gain perspective in his own life because of the kind of tough life she has to live with herself.
Growing up with a sister that has to face new challenges every day puts life in perspective for sure.
The two are completely inseparable to the point that she not only gets to watch his games, but also accompanies him to the locker room. And thank God for that, because now she has revealed that she would like to one day be a head coach of a basketball team. She once said this when she was taken to meet now former Suns coach Monty Williams, "I think I'll make a great coach." And Devin replied, "Yes, you will." Because of her, Devin has become more aware and intuitive about special needs kids. He has, over the years, worked with the Special Olympics by participating in their events and engaging with their athletes. And because of his involvement, he was named a global ambassador to the Special Olympics. Booker to this day continues to lend his voice to the special needs community. This is why it's not so surprising that Devin, over the years, has found it easy to bond with people who are not his blood. First, it was Caleb, who was in middle school with Book. Caleb has Down syndrome, and he and Book were quite close. But right now, there's another who has become like a sister to Devin, and her name is Jenna Warren. This is probably my favorite story about Devin Booker. Jenna Warren, who's his friend and #1 fan, is also someone with Down syndrome. She lives with her stepdad, Ray, and her mother, Gracie, who have been lifelong Super Suns fans. Man, Jenna is probably an even bigger Suns fan than her parents because her room is absolutely flooded with purple and orange. That's on account of how much Suns memorabilia she truly has. Before she met Devin officially, her parents would always take her to Suns game early where she would cheer on players like Devin during the pregame warm-ups. This was to make sure her cheers didn't get swallowed up by the crowd as they would once the game would start.
Every warm-up, every shot I made, she'd clap. If it almost went in and went out, she'd be like, "Ooh."
One day, her persistence paid off and Devin went over to introduce himself during warm-ups. Since then, they've become best friends and share a bond that is worthy of a documentary. She's also become an inspiration to Book, who once said of her, quote, "To her, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. It doesn't matter whether we get picked #1 or #14. She makes me remember what's bigger than basketball. She'll be good either way, so I'll be good either way." End quote. Well, my heart is already melting, but it's time to move on to those women who have got Devin's heart all booked up. Get it? Alright, tough crowd today. We'll move on. Devin Booker's love life first got into the news in May of 2018 when he was seen having dinner with Kylie Jenner's best friend at the time, Jordan Woods. Also present at that dinner were Ben Simmons and Kendall Jenner, who were dating at the time. But Jordan was reportedly caught cheating with NBA player Tristan Thompson, who is with Khloe Kardashian, and her friendship with Kylie crashed. Following this crash, Ben Simmons and Kendall called it quits in May 2019, and guess who Kendall started dating after that? Yup, Devin. Devin and Kendall were first spotted together in April of 2020 during a trip to beautiful Sedona, Arizona. But despite seeing them together on several other occasions, they never officially came out to say that they were together. But the two started posting pictures of each other online, and then we knew it was official. Nevertheless, the two did break up before the close of 2022, with reports placing the reason for their breakup on busy schedules. The two are still reportedly good friends. Currently, aside from rumors of Devin going out with Wednesday actress Jenna Ortega, he is single. While Book continues to find his missing rib, you can go check out this other video on an NBA superstar who was hanging out with other NBA superstars before he was in the league. Crazy. Go ahead and click on this video to learn more.